Hi everyone. Today I'm not starting by wiping my nose. Aren't you glad? This question I took from Renee Mazorowicz from Twitter. I hope I said that right. She was asking like, how do you make the most out of connection calls, new connection calls, and like saying what you do, what the other person does, like to see if there's a fit to work together, to partner up, without it being salesy. And like, this is a good question. And I thought about it. We went back and forth. Angela Bowman talked about it. Angela Bowman likes to ask people different icebreaker questions. She likes to ask people, what do you do that isn't technology? Oh, tell me something about yourself that has nothing to do with technology. That's what Angela Bowman likes to do. Amber Pechin likes to ask people what their favorite dinosaur is. They seem ridiculous questions, but if I can't believe I'm saying so many times. They seem like ridiculous questions, except we need something to latch onto that isn't so businessy so that we don't sound so salesy. Now, I've been doing these videos in my pajamas for a few weeks, just sitting out here on my balcony or whatever. There's a couple that are in my car or outside, because starting the video process by having a full face of makeup and all my perfect lighting and connecting to my LAN cord and making sure that I have my mic on, it was too overwhelming that I just didn't want to do it at all, right? And I'm in this phase in my life where I just want to be myself. Be yourself. Remember that video? And find out where you thrive. So I have been told that this is detrimental to my career, to be so honest or raw or vulnerable. Now, I see vulnerability as power. Sorry about that. I see vulnerability as power, and this is why. Because vulnerability is how you connect with other people. That doesn't sound salesy. You have to have something to talk about. When I write bios for people, speaker bios and whatnot, I always look at their social feeds to find something about them that's more human. When I suggest, when I consult with my clients, I do the same thing. If you like golf, you need to talk about golf. You have to give up something of yourself. Now, you don't have to put out your social security number and pictures of your kids and where you live and all this other stuff. But you have to give something for us to relate on. So think of these social details as the little bugs and ticks that live on the snow monkeys, backs or whatever they're picking off when they're grooming. Social grooming is how we bond with each other. And I'm not implying anything inappropriate. But if you think about humans as social animals, which we are, that I scratch on my back, you scratch yours. Now that's an old school Guru Minute video. If you look up, I scratch my back, you scratch yours, or you scratch my back, I scratch yours, hashtag Guru Minute, you'll find it. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You have to have something, You have to have something. So when the snow monkeys, or primates in general, groom each other, they both have reduced levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. And they get another hormone called oxytocin, not not oxy, like the, not oxy, the narcotic, oxytocin, which is the love hormone. That's what makes us feel like we belong. The person who grooms, or the primate that grooms, gets all these little bugs and everything, so that's extra protein. but they also get more oxytocin and more and their cortisol drops. So the increased levels of oxytocin decrease the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. So the person who's grooming has a better benefit than the person who is groomed. So other people like Diedre from Tank Girl Marketing, who I used to know 100 million years ago, it feels like, she would say to me, I asked her what her tips were when she goes to networking meetings, BNI, whatever, what have you. She always goes to the person who's by themselves and asks them a question. Like, what brought you here? When I was a pastor's wife, my husband, because I never knew what to say, he said, just ask people, how do you know the bride? That only backfired once at a family wedding. we all knew the bride. But just ask a question, ask a question about them. Now, if your bio doesn't say anything about you, then that's really tricky. Do you like the San Antonio Spurs? Are you a Green Bay Packers fan? This is why I love sports. Sports is something that is very generic. It's not personal, that gets a community together. Do you like kayaking? Do you like golfing? Do you like needlepoint? Are you into Blink 182? Do you do improv? What is it about you that people can relate to? Now, me, I'm just being me, and if this offends you or makes you think that I would never hire somebody who talks about their finances or whatnot, then I'm not your client, and you're not my client. I mean, we're not a good match. This is who I am. My clients like working with me because they like who I am, and they like that I'm raw, and they like that I'm honest, and they like that I can relate. Now, I'm the kind of person, I don't care about Tony Robbins and pithy sayings and bumper sticker advice. Like, if you haven't gone through it, I don't care. If you've got, if you just bought your fourth house and you're driving around a BMW, and that's the car that, it's just in your garage because, really your regular car is an SUV, a Land Rover. Maybe we're not the same people, that's fine. But I know a lot of people who are really struggling in their careers. They're around my age. And this is a point in our lives where we're like, wait a second. We've been doing this one thing to survive, to pay the bills, to be responsible. So now it's our turn. There's something magic that happens when you turn 40. Now I just turned 50. I'm growing out my gray. I don't really want to pay for coloring anymore. I cut my hair because I'm in mourning. People understand that, Be yourself. That's how we connect. We connect by having these little bugs that we groom off of each other. If you've ever been to a bar and you've seen what people talk about, a local bar where people are there all the time, it's the same at TJ Maxx at the jewelry counter. I know people. I remember them. They come all the time. How's your daughter? How's this? How's that? Oh, you remembered I bought the, what do you call it? Not crucifix. The rosary. Oh, you remember? I'm like, yeah, I remember. She's like, oh, you remember me. I'm like, of course I remember you. But those small things, Try to talk about things that have nothing to do with business. Then you'll find out that you connect and the business comes naturally. As a writer, I would have backspace. But you get the point. That's the whole point of Balconies with Bridget. It's just me drinking coffee with my cat. Say hi, Diesel. Meow, meow. What are you doing? Say hello. Under 10 minutes so it could go on LinkedIn. I don't know. If this doesn't inspire you, that's okay. If you've watched to this far, thank you. Write me a comment. But I'm telling you, I get so many DMs of, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. And that's why I do it. Love you. Bye.